Good morning, class 12. Today I'm here again, okay, with the Cold War, and especially today we're going to see the characteristics of the Cold War. Okay, I hope yesterday you have all gone through the causes, okay, of the Cold War, and of course the causes and the characteristics we're going to discuss today as well. And I think you've finished your Potsdam and the Yalta conferences. Okay, good. Now, what it is the Cold War, as you see, was a state of geopolitical tension, we call it. Okay, after the Second World War between the powers in the Eastern Bloc, that is the Soviet Union and its satellite states. Now, Eastern Bloc is Eastern Europe, okay, and the Soviet Union as its head, that is Russia, okay, USSR, and its satellite states are all those Eastern European countries like Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, Bulgaria, Hungary, okay, all these are your satellite states. Okay, now these are called as satellite states because these were treated as Russia, okay, as the one to give them energy, okay, and the draining of all the resources. Okay, so these were your countries which is under the control of USSR, where communism was spreading rapidly. Okay, so therefore it is known as your satellite states. And Western Bloc is your Western Europe, okay, and that was under your United States, that is USA, and it is known as your NATO allies, okay, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, a defensive mechanism, okay, or you can say also a military organization that was formed against USSR, okay, when it was, very intensely spreading communism in Eastern Europe. Okay, so that is a Cold War where you have the geopolitical tension. Okay, children, now you can see the map of your Europe here. Okay, so when you see the map of Europe here, the western part here, you can see the ones in the blue color. Okay, these were all your NATO allies. Okay, all the countries that was under your USA. Okay, so that's all your West East Germany, West Germany, okay, your France, sorry, not East Germany, West Germany, your France, Luxembourg, okay, all these countries here in blue, shaded blue, these are all your NATO allies, all your part of US, and all that in the pink one is your communist countries, okay, that's under your US Soviet Union. You can see here, so you can see all the countries here that was under Hungary, Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, okay, all these East Germany. Okay, so we have this division of East Germany and West Germany also, and that is the post World War II, okay, where you have the division, and these are known as your occupational zones, economic occupational zones, okay, where it's divided. So you have East Germany and West Germany. Similarly, East Berlin and West Berlin is also divided between USA and USSR. Okay, so actually it was, why was it divided here? It was to take care and to see the economy, okay, of this country Germany, okay, flourishes. But what does Soviet Union do? Okay, it tries to spread communism and makes a blockade here. Okay, that is, okay, later on we come to the point. Okay, and that's how the communism becomes a very serious threat to US. Okay, so this is the map of Europe, division with Eastern Bloc and Western Bloc. Okay, children, so therefore these are known as the satellite states. Okay, because Soviet Union draining all the resources from these eastern countries. Now, when we call it a Cold War, why do we call it a Cold War? Cold War, why? Because there is no direct combat or fight. As I've already said yesterday also, there's no direct combat or fight between USSR, okay, plus the allies, that is all the allies countries of USSR. Okay, there's all the Eastern European countries and USA plus allies, that is the Western European countries. Okay, so there was no direct and there was no fighting, okay, direct with all the armaments or any kind of weapons, but there were lots of proxy war. Okay, now what is the proxy war? Now there is no combat fighting, as in no direct fighting, but what is the proxy war? Here, okay, you have opposing, so lots of proxy war that's fought in Korea, Vietnam, Afghanistan. Now you have two countries, A and B. So you can take it as US and USSR. These are two important countries. Okay, they find two countries, okay, that is C and D, supposing. So for example, USA and USSR found Korea, Vietnam, where you have, of course, Korea also, South Korea and North Korea, and Vietnam also, South Vietnam and North Vietnam, and there was civil war. Then you have the interference of US and USSR. Now USA and USSR are directly not fighting, okay, but who's involved here? The two states, okay, that is North Korea and South Korea. So they are supplying your arms and armaments, okay, whereas North Vietnam, was supported by USA, and South Vietnam was supported by USSR. Okay, so that's how they wanted to, USSR wanted to spread communism and spreading and helping South Vietnam with all its warfare armaments, okay, and all their military help with money, everything. So that's how you can see. So AB becoming your both US and USSR, and C and D becoming North Korea and South Korea. So you can see when the world, it appears to the world, actually who's fighting? North Korea and South Korea. But actually who is helping it out? That was your USA and USSR. So that's how they fought, okay, this Cold War. So there's a lot of proxy wars, okay, where they did not fight directly, but they helped the other country. So you can see a very good example of the proxy wars in Korea, Vietnam, and Afghanistan. Now, when you come to the characteristics of the Cold War, now, as I already said, it is an ideological differences, okay, there's no territory dispute, but the principle that is based on each country, okay, is based on, as we said, US based on your capitalistic, okay, economy, and whereas you have USSR as as a communist economy, okay, and they have that's how the differences, okay, hit one another. So ideological difference in the principles, the atmosphere of the mutual political distrust, yes. So peace at that time becomes very, very difficult, okay, because no country believed each other directly, okay, and because they always felt that this country, okay, coming to try to make peace obviously has some political interest, vested interest, okay. So no country believed one another directly. Then arms race, high military spending. Both the country, US and USSR, now they started spending, okay, a lot of money, okay, on your military, okay, and both they started building up jet fighters, ships, submarines, okay. So all this control, so all they had started here, okay. So they started spending a lot of money on all the armaments, okay, highly military spending, both USA and USSR. So of course that also becomes a serious threat, okay, of a war. Then espionage, that is a spying system, okay, and both the countries had a good network of spying system, okay, that is kind of gaining your intelligence, okay, over your enemy, okay, like where you have USA having your CIA, okay, the intelligence system, intelligence thing, okay, to have a espionage system. Then you had USSR as with your KGB. So those kind of things, okay, were very much the root, okay, you can say, okay, that led to the Cold War. And next you have a psychological warfare. Psychological warfare means the propaganda, both country, okay, was spreading propaganda here. What you mean here, okay, means like saying that which philosophy, okay, which principle is best suited, okay, for the world. Whereas USSR kept on, okay, propagating its philosophy of Marx, your communism, whereas your USA kept on propagating your what do you call it, capitalism, okay. So that is how, and they said that, okay, this has a positive effect, the other one is very evil, this philosophy does not work. So that is what kind of a psychological warfare they were playing. And brinkmanship means okay, the very important brinkmanship, what you mean here is, both the countries knew that the world, okay, I mean, say they had that much of power, okay, when they can bring the world to an end, not one time but many a times, okay. And they knew that at an early stage, if they would have stopped, okay, then the situation would have not reached till the end. But both the countries did not do that, okay, because both had nuclear capability. So because of that, they reached till the end, okay, of the war, okay. And of course, yes, when and that very example is your Cuban Missile Crisis, okay, when USSR had installed its nuclear weapon, okay, in your Cuba, okay, that's called the backyard of US, okay. And that's how, when both the country knew each other's potential, then they knew, okay, like, okay, the world will come to an end if they if any one country had also fired the nuclear weapon, okay, they had started doing that, okay. So therefore they came to an end there, halt. So that was the brinkmanship. Because of this nuclear capability, they came to that end of the war, okay. So now if you really look at the beginning of the Cold War, okay, we do not have the fixed timing as when did the Cold War start. And actually, okay, as people say, it started in 1940. I mean, historians say started in 1945 after Cold War, after your Second World War. But really, when you see, it starts here, Russian Revolution. Yes, we had seen 1917, as you said, the end of Tsardom, and in Russia we had the whites and their reds. So whites in Russia, Russian Civil War, there are two parties. So that was supported by your USA, France, and UK today. To say the NATO part. Okay, then later on it becomes okay. And 1922, as you see, that was Red Party, and that was established. USSR. Okay, was established by Lenin. Okay, sorry, by Lenin. And 1933 then on, so when 1922 USSR was established, till then you had you can see that this Russia, okay, was not recognized by USA as a country, as a communist country, okay. But 1933, then you start having the diplomatic relation between US and USSR, okay. Now, if you see, after 1945 also, USSR tried to exert communist influence throughout your Eastern Europe as buffer against Germany, okay. Various communist governments were propped up. Now, what is this thing saying here? 1945. You have your USSR trying to exert. Why? Because if you see in the First World War also, okay, Germany had always tried to attack, okay, Poland. Okay, now if Poland was attacked and it had taken also, okay, the Danzig port. So Germany attacking Poland and again attacking your USSR. So it was a threat to USSR. Okay, again in Second World War also you had your same thing, Germany had attacked Poland, and again it was a very great threat to USSR. So that's for US. Therefore, now you had the Soviet Union anyhow had to take over this part. So you can see the map here, children. Okay, so it's how Germany, okay, and Poland, and you have USSR here. So this part of Eastern Europe, it was very much important for Soviet Union, and that's how we wanted to bring the control. Okay, Soviet Union wanted to bring control of these states because all Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Romania, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Austria, Yugoslavia, Bulgaria, all these countries, okay, had to come under control of USSR because it had a threat of Germany. Germany had always attacked during the First World War also, okay, attacked Poland and a threat to USSR. The Second World War also had to do the same. So that was the greatest threat again here for United States. So the Soviet Union had threat of Germany and therefore wanted to take control over these Eastern European countries, whereas your USA, they tried to exert its influence in war on France, West Germany, Japan, and Korea, and tried to set up capitalism supporting leaders. Okay, so you can see that's this part, okay, of that is called the Western Bloc, okay, where you have United States control over all these states, and these were all your NATO allies, okay, Netherlands, Belgium, France, okay, Norway, Denmark. These were all your allies, the NATO allies, okay. Now you have the special phrase here now, that's an iron curtain had descended over the continent. And who said this? This is your American President Winston Churchill. Why? Because you see this pink one is shaded USSR and all these are eastern part of the countries. So here you have Czechoslovakia. So once your USSR, okay, started controlling over all these parts of Eastern Europe and finally took over this part of your Eastern Europe, that is Czechoslovakia, then technically your Iron Curtain was descended because it practically divides a Eastern European country and your Western European country. So that is what your Winston Churchill has said, an Iron Curtain. Okay, literally an Iron Curtain was not drawn, okay, but taking over of Czechoslovakia, that makes it the end of a separation of Eastern Europe and Western Europe. Okay, so that is an Iron Curtain had descended. So it may take time because Czechoslovakia was only the place that was not a communist government was not established in Eastern Europe. It was a democratic country, okay, but in such a country when USSR takes over, then it was finally, you can say that an Iron Curtain descended over the continent. Okay, then you have the growing influence of USSR now. So now they have to start thinking of the policy as how to stop, the influence of your USSR. So that is called your containment policy. Containment policy meaning wherever it is, okay, whichever part now it has spread to, okay, it has to stop there. Same where like your COVID-19, if you take an example, okay, supposing it takes place in St. Mary's Hill, okay, so it had to be contained there only. Means no further spread of that disease. No, it has to spread, it has to stop there. Same way, okay, you have your communism, okay, spreading in eastern part of Europe and already taken. Now that should not spread to Asia, okay, other your Western European countries. So it has to stay there. That is called the containment policy. So you have to rapidly stop if something, okay, take some aggressive taking this over here, you can call an aggressive policy. Okay, so stop there. So for that, What does USA do? Okay, because USSR was spreading, okay, or communism rapidly, so they start a Marshall Plan for reconstruction. Marshall Plan, it is an economic aid that was given by your America, okay, the secretary, and Marshall was your secretary of finance, secretary, okay, of US. Okay, now before the Marshall Plan, you have your Truman Doctrine, okay, that is 1947. Truman Doctrine, as I said, that is also to support nations against communism. Any country which has a threat against communism, okay, and is subjugated to any threat of communism, then communism in the sense, if any country is very weak, okay, and USSR comes to support, okay, and of course financial aid is given, then you don't want to be a communist country. Then Truman, okay, Harry S. Truman, who was the president of America, has started this, doctrine, okay, or the support, this economic aid to given to those countries who do not want to spread, who don't want to, to be a communist country but needs economic aid. So that was Truman. So then USA now, was called one of the arsenal of democracy, but it proved wrong here because it started supporting your anti-communist regimes and supporting your dictatorship. Okay, so that was a kind of a little fault, on the part of US as well. Okay, but it's tried to stop communism, starting with the containment policy. So please have in mind, children, what is your containment policy? To stop wherever it has, to stop wherever it has, it has started. Okay, so that is what it meant by the containment policy. Okay, so again, you have the map of your Europe here, and you can see this part as Central Asia, okay, East Asia, okay, the gray shaded portion, okay, Central Asia, then East Asia, okay, and these are and European theater. So these are the places, okay, where you have the Cold War affected these areas. So okay, here Afghanistan, Korea, Vietnam, all these places. Okay, so when this was happening, now it had to be rapidly stopped, so it did not enter the whole world. Communism does not spread. Okay, so that is your map. Then of course it's your choice where you draw. So this is just a propaganda thing, okay, your poster by USA. Okay, that means it is saying it's your choice where do you draw the line against communist aggression. Okay, why it's saying, because in red it is already shaded. Okay, the eastern part of everything Europe was shaded as red and communist. Now it is slowly entering Asia, and then it is going to spread all over the world. Australia, everywhere is going to spread. So that is what a propaganda that was said by US saying, okay, where do you stop? But seriously, if you think, okay, why this one was the if you say USA was why was so much eager to stop communism. Okay, because at that time, now you see okay, that is of course we know communism is a failed ideology, but at that time in the 50s and the 60s, okay, all the people were very much interested and they were attracted to the Karl Marx theory of socialism, where he talked about communism, he talked about equal distribution of wealth. Okay, and of course you can also see that it was also coming in India, and of course the communist government was formed in India, in Kerala. Okay, and democratically it was elected. So that is how communism was was spreading. Okay, and therefore that is a propaganda that was made by America. It's your choice where do you draw the line, okay, against communist aggression, and hence the containment policy. Okay, children, so these are your principles, your characteristics, you can say the causes of the Cold War. So please go through it properly, and tomorrow again we shall start with the now events of the Cold War. Okay, with this, how the what were the events that that took place. Okay, children, thank you.